I have a lot to say about last night's presidential debate, a lot to break down, a lot to talk about. As I said last night, and as I posted in an article today, the debate is really a snapshot of the state of America. What was your take last night? Do you think there was a winner or loser? Did Trump win? Did Biden win? Did America win or lose? Was it a fair debate? What's your take? 866-348-7884. Let's look at some of the headlines that were posted last night. And this is a variety of websites, both left-wing and right-wing, from MSNBC to Breitbart. Let's just look at some of what was reported. A debate night in America, pure chaos at the first debate. Then this headline, fall brawl. First Trump-Biden debate full of fiery exchanges, insults as they spar on SCOTUS, COVID, and more. Here's another. Trump TV spectacle made for video. POTUS relentlessly heckles Biden. Constant interruptions. Tough guy Joe keeps telling Trump to shut up, calls President clown twice. Inevitable. Wallace double teams Trump. And that was actually a conservative website. Drudge Report with a big picture of a clown face. Debate / no, that's canceled out. Circus Now. Will you shut up, man? Oldest candidates in history. Here's another. Round 1. Mayhem. Here's another. This is personal. Trump calls Biden incompetent and Dem dubs president a clown as furious debate descends into bitter shouting match. And then this. Live. MSNBC analysis after presidential debate turns into chaotic shouting match. So I didn't have the heart to watch any of the post-debate analyses, but here on MSNBC, that turns into a chaotic shouting match. And then Trump challenges moderator Chris Wallace. I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. Biden tells Trump to shut up, calls him racist clown, not presidential. Chris Wallace runs interference for Biden. And on it goes. If you missed it, let me play 2 clips that were representative, and then I'm going to give you my overall take and do my best to be constructive and practical and edifying and not sensationalistic as we break this down. All right, clip 1, let's take a listen.
Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question because the question is radical left. Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Who's on your list?
Gentlemen, I think
this is so unprecedented.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe.
They sure
47 years you've done nothing. They understand.
All right. The second subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject. So let's try to be serious about it.
All right. I mean, that's a little taste. Now, on the one hand, it's absolutely outrageous that Biden refused to answer that question. It's absolutely outrageous that Chris Wallace didn't push him on it. But the way the bickering starts and then Trump interrupting and challenging him because he's not answering, but you're not supposed to be interrupting at that point. And then Biden telling him, you just shut up, man. And then Chris Wallace, and they're all talking at the same time. I felt like it was one of these family squabbles where you just say, is there an adult in the room? Will somebody stand up and just tell everybody, be quiet? Children, be quiet. That's how I felt watching it. And many others from all sides felt the same way. Now, there were worse moments with all 3 talking at the same time, but here's a good example of the kind of back and forth and the pettiness on all sides. Let's listen.
Number 1.
Joe, you agreed with Bernie Sanders, who's far left, on the manifesto, we call it. And that gives you socialized medicine.
Look, hey,
are you saying
I'm not going to listen to him. The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you, old buddy.
Pocahontas would have left 2 days early. You would have lost every primary.
All he knows how to do is
Super Tuesday. You got very lucky.
Here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to make sure, because here's the deal.
All right. That was a little snapshot of what happened over the course of the night. Here's the article that I wrote. I stepped back. I prayed, all right, there's going to be so much post-debate analysis, going to be breakdown and defending this one, defending that one, who won, back and forth. And when I really looked at it, I thought, okay, America lost. This is a picture of America. So that's the article. that I wrote, the presidential debate was a snapshot of America. If you haven't read it, it's at stream.org. It's at AskDrBrown.org. The presidential debate was a snapshot of America. And as I say in the article, the debate was a microcosm of the state of America. We are gravely divided. We are nasty. We burn bridges rather than build them. We don't trust anyone that is not in our camp. We are deeply suspicious. Everyone seems biased. And the question, are there any national unifying voices? Sadly, there are not. All right. And I noticed that someone posted this on Facebook today after reading my article. And this is what she said. She said, you write what I'm thinking. Loki said, thank you for saying everything I've been thinking since last night and saying it so much better. That's why I'm introduced as your voice of moral, cultural, and spiritual revolution. I'm trying to get God's heart, wisdom, truth. And I know that many of you feel the same way, but you don't have the platform that we have. You don't have the radio reach, the internet reach, the social media reach. So we want to use that and be your voice. We also want to hear from you. That's why we have live radio, so we can hear from you, 866-34-TRUTH. That's why we post everything on the internet so you can interact and comment. And there are tens of thousands of comments every month. So we appreciate you weighing in. But we're trying to step back and get clarity. No, I don't claim to be perfectly unbiased. Who is? I do my best to be, but obviously I'm not. All right. But I am trying to be as objective as I can be before the Lord. I'm making that effort rather than just weighing in a partisan way. Okay. So a few large thoughts about the debate. Number one, why do you do debates? You do debates to change people's minds. You do debates to get people to hear your position and embrace your position. And let's say when you're doing a debate, let's say I'm debating an Orthodox rabbi, like my friend Rabbi Shmuley. I want people to consider Jesus as the Jewish Messiah, and he wants them not to. So let's say you'll have three major groups if you make broad divisions. One group is the group that really agrees with me. The other group is the group that really agrees with Rabbi Shmuley. The other group is kind of in between, leaning one way or the other, not sure. So I always want to strengthen those that are with me. In other words, I want them to leave feeling fortified, strengthened, encouraged, energized. And I want to get the people in Rabbi Shmuley's camp, the ones that are completely on the other side, I want to get them thinking. I want to get them wondering, could there be truth to this position that they've always rejected? But the ones that I'm going to have the greatest potential impact on are the ones that are kind of in the middle, which they're not really sure. So let's just say that in the debate, if there was an arbitrary way to score it, let's just say in the debate, I won 8-2, all right? The people in Shmuley's camp, they'll be a little shaken by that, but they'll probably still think he won. The people in my camp will think I totally demolished him. But it's the ones in the middle, leaning a little one way, a little the other, that I've got the best chance of maybe influence them to really consider my position. That's why you do the debate. I don't think either candidate succeeded at all in influencing the people in the middle. I think they missed enough opportunities. I think they did enough things that were self-destructive along the way that they missed their moments. And listen, I say this as a debater. I say this as someone who's been in the hot seat, been on the stage in major events, universities, or things that are being broadcast, live streamed and watched by thousands. No, obviously not the tens of millions that watched last night or a debate of that consequence in terms of the national elections, but high stakes debates on key issues. I've been in the hot seat. I've been in that situation many, many times. I have experience in this. And look, there's such a thing as optics. Certain things play well and others don't play well. And the whole reason you're doing the debate is to effectively communicate your position and get people to consider your position, win them over to your position. That's why you do it. And you're convinced that you're on the side of truth. All right. So number one, President Trump sadly set the tone with his interruptions. He did it from early on. And there are rules. You get to speak 2 minutes. That was the thing. Other gets to answer 2 minutes. Back and forth talk. There was plenty of opportunity to go back and forth. You don't interrupt during the other person's time. It makes you look bad. It makes you look petty. So he messed up with that, and he did it through the night. Fail on his end. Joe Biden, on his end, what does he do? He retaliates with insults. He calls the president a clown twice, tells him to shut up, calls him a liar, and other things like that. He failed there. That if you're getting interrupted, there's a way where you take the higher ground instead of that. Then you end up and listen. I've been in situations where I get whiny and it's just everybody looks bad. As for Chris Wallace, he did not moderate fairly. That seems very, very clear. The way he challenged Trump on certain questions, the way he repeated things that are absolute lies and set it up as a question. He did not push back on Biden to answer the way he pushed back on Trump. No question about that in terms of not a fair job of moderation. And then he got as bad as the debate. Everybody, it's like, stop. Will somebody just stop? I'm sure many of you felt like that. That being said, I don't know what he could have done to force Trump and then Biden to play by the rules. I believe if he had gotten Trump to play by the rules, that Biden would have played by the rules. I don't know what you do in a situation like that, other than cutting someone's mic off. I don't know how to handle that. So that was a difficult situation. But overall, it ended up being a mess and a hodgepodge, something that, again, gives a picture of the divided state, nasty, angry, everybody's wrong, nobody's right state of America. That's why the elections can only go so far. There must be awakening that changes our nation. We're in bad shape. A few other larger things I just want to address. One is with the battle being fought the way it was. It's kind of like you signed up for a boxing match with gloves and regulation ring and all this, and it ends up with a street fight. One guy bringing a baseball bat and a knife and biting and kicking and wrestling on the floor. It ends up just being a mess, and everybody in the process gets dirty. You feel you got dirty just watching. That also means that the major issues of substance, which is what we really needed to focus on, really got overlooked. Now, on a debating level, debating principle, there were obvious misses. And by the way, I know that here and there was some rambling with Joe Biden, but with everything that was expected in terms of dementia and he can't think and he can't speak and all this, he did as well as you could expect. In other words, I think he came out fine in that regard. And Trump, while he's losing, I think he came out fine. Again, their demeanor and the way they treated each other and the interrupting and the bickering and the insulting, that was degrading for both of them. You say, well, one's the president. He shouldn't act like that. I agree 100%. On the other hand, you don't call the president a clown and tell him to shut up. So that the sword cuts both ways in that regard. All right. But when something comes your way that is an absolute falsehood, you need to, boom, you got to refute it head on. So the Charlottesville lie that we'll unpack a little bit later in the broadcast. The Charlottesville lie that Trump said that neo-Nazis and white supremacists, that some of them are very fine people. All right, which he categorically said the opposite of that very week on a few occasions. In any case, he never smashed that. It's out there. It comes to you. Smash it. On the flip side, when you refuse to answer a direct question of importance, will you pack the Supreme Court? And Joe Biden says, I'm not going to answer that because that would become the issue. That's supposed to be the issue. That's what you're being asked. That's a big question. Americans need to know. Boom, fail there. So you had those kinds of things that happen. I don't think that Trump lost any of his support, any of his base by being the way he was, because that's the way he's been from day one. And those that can't vote for him for those reasons aren't voting for him, and everyone else saying, hey, that's not why I voted for him anyway. I voted for the policies, and he is the way he is. On the flip side, is it possible that Biden saying, I'm the Democrat Party, denying the platform that the manifesto that he and Bernie Sanders put together, distancing himself from the Green New Deal, saying categorically he doesn't want to defund police, will that lose some of the left base? Those are questions that would have been good questions to discuss, but again, got lost in the overall flow of what happened. All right, here's what I posted on Twitter. I posted a couple of polls during the debate. So one is, who is being more civil in the debate. Now, remember, overwhelmingly, my Twitter followers would be, if you said you're voting for Trump or Biden, overwhelmingly would be Trump. Nonetheless, still he came out lower there. Who's being more civil? Trump, 18.6%, Biden, 22.2%, neither, 57.7%. That's really true. I should have asked who's being less civil, and then both 1.5%. So obviously, almost nobody thought that. Then another question I asked in terms of who won the debate. In your view, who won the debate? So here's the interesting response on Twitter. Who won the debate in your opinion? I gave 4 choices. Biden, 8.5%. Trump, 36.6%. Neither, 19.7%. Last choice, America lost, 35.2%. So on my Twitter feed, it's not big. It's like 43,500 or something like that. So it's not one of these with tens of millions, all right? But it's a good representative chunk. On that feed, you would say that the great majority of those following me would consider themselves Christian conservatives, right? The great majority. We have many that don't agree, but that would be the great majority. So think of this. Almost as many said America lost as said Trump won. That to me says a lot. And I tweeted this out during the debate. I said, there's so much dirt flying, it's hard not to feel dirty just watching. And then when the debate ended, I posted this because, again, it's the presidential election, who you're voting for, right? Tonight's debate reminded me again that there is a lot I don't like about the way real Donald Trump handles himself. That's his Twitter handle, real Donald Trump. But hands down, he gets my vote for policies as well as gets my vote against the Democratic policies. So I'm going to shout out as loudly as I ever have the day after, Donald Trump is not my savior. Donald Trump is not my deliverer. My hope is not in Donald Trump. My hope is in Jesus, my savior, deliverer, my all in all. He's the one I preach. He's the one I love. He's the one I declare. When the name of Trump is forgotten, when the name of America is forgotten, the name of Jesus will be exalted forever and ever, and we will worship him to the glory of God the Father. Period. That's who I am. That's my heart. That's my stance. As to who I'd prefer to have as president between the 2 choices now, I prefer Donald Trump over Joe Biden, and that's how I'll vote. But friends, let's recognize we're dealing with human beings, weak human beings that need prayer, that need God, and that can only go so far in what they do. And that's the reality.